As we know, Elsa Bloodstone just dropped as of recent, and honestly, compared to most of the Hitscan heroes, she has to be one of the most enjoyable, unique, and actually very fun Hitscan characters that they actually released in Marvel Rivals. I made a previous video on how I was basically trying to theorize on what I thought she was going to play. Like, I suggested that she was going to be similar to like Ashe or maybe like an Ana playstyle depending on what role she got, but she actually kind of doesn't play like any of them. She has some similarities like in the weaponry, like one of her abilities is like a dash, and when you pull yourself back with one of her shotguns, it kind of does remind you of like a coach gun from Ashe from Overwatch. But overall, her playstyle is completely unique, and I'm actually really impressed on what the dev team was able to cook up with this character. I made quite a bit of videos on her before even she was released because I was really interested in learning more about this character and just kind of how she was more or less like, not like an oddball, but like an underground character compared to Deadpool. And I was really worried that she wouldn't get as much love put into her as Deadpool. Now, I will say, in comparison and like their power level, I think Elsa might even be like, I don't think it's comparable to say that they're even on the same tier. I think Elsa is just way better than Deadpool. I think her overall damage is super impressive. I think her ult, I'm going to talk about that, is actually super cool. And just like, I'm going to be really surprised if they don't even nerf this ult, because I will say it is pretty like overpowered. But I don't even know if that's a bad thing, because I think since there's so many like support ults in this game that allow you to be immortal, I think the fact that this ult is the way it is actually pretty good. And you can destroy it, that's the thing. Like, it's a really good ult, but I feel like in some cases you can just absolutely burn through this ultimate, which is why I'm not sure if it needs to get nerfed. I don't know how they would nerf it. Maybe they could like nerf the distance, but I think it's too early to be saying that, oh yeah, this character should be getting nerfed. But I think some time needs to go and see what this character actually has like to the full capacity. Now, judging on the other videos I made on her, it was like 2 or 3, I just wanted to go over like her overall playstyle and how I actually like to play her and why I think it's actually super cool and super interesting. I will say, if you play the other hit scans like Jean, Hela, Namor, I know Namor's not a Hitscan character, but like a poke character whose main goal is to just prioritize mid to long range damage, right? I would maybe suggest playing this character, mostly because I will say you do have to have pretty good aim in order to land your combos and your shots, because her main output definitely comes from her combos. She definitely feels like more of a Psylocke than anything, which is why I really suggest that if you do play Psylocke, you can play this character, because I think this character is just really good. I think she's super fun. I think she's super rewarding if you actually play her correctly. I do find myself enjoying her. I think this is like the first hit scan that I actually can say it's very fun in this game. Like I said, she's very different from the hit scan characters in this game, and just like Ashe, like I said in my other video, she plays nothing close to Ashe. I mean, they do have their similarities in the sense that they both have the shotgun and all the different weaponry, but the main way I actually found getting value on her and just having like actually the most fun on this character was more or less focusing on taking off angles and even flanking. Like, I feel her trap, or something I want to talk about, her trap is actually a really cool like part of her kit, because it allows you to engage. I think you probably need it, and I've re-engaged because you can just like dash to whichever person you kind of mark. I think her trap is really cool. I also like how she's very combo heavy despite being a hit scan, sort of like Psylocke. I think just this character is just amazing. They did a really good job. Now, the way, like I mentioned before, what makes her similar to Psylocke is Psylocke, you know, yeah, you are a flanker, but you know, getting the maximum value was with your kind of like your kill combo, like your M1, and then like you retract your shurikens. But I think what makes her different in comparison to Psylocke is that you do have to engage with your combo, which is also your escape ability, because I will say with Psylocke is you can kind of play for a distance, from a distance. You can like use your shurikens, like I said. But with Elsa, it's like you do need to land this combo. I feel like this character, despite being a 3-star difficulty character, her combo, I don't think it's super difficult. I don't think she's one of the harder, like most difficult characters in this game. But in order to get the most value, you do have to have pretty good aim, and I feel like you have to maximize all your abilities. Definitely feels as if using your abilities on this character is a lot more important because most of your kill confirms are also your escape ability. It does help that when you actually fill the meter below her health bar, which allows your cooldowns to actually get reduced, it does help that you can actually sometimes even spam that. Like, I have some gameplay playing right now, and sometimes I should have died, but the fact that I have 3 of the stacks, I think that's what they're called, I don't know what they're called, but 3 of like the bars filled up and I can actually escape, it really helps that when you do engage, if you play well, you do get rewarded. And the cooldown reduction, I think, is really cool. I thought the cooldown reduction was going to be the most broken part of her kit, but I actually think her ultimate is the most broken part of her kit, because I just think that if you don't really shoot this ultimate, you can get a lot of value. But I do also want to say this ult is not easy to more or less confirm every single kill. It's probably because she hasn't been out for literally like even a week, but I think over time it will get much easier to actually land the kill confirms with the ult. Whenever I play Elsa, I find myself trying to maximize getting ult value by waiting for the supports to ult. I think on characters like Cloak and Dagger and Sue, it is very difficult to sometimes even land it, at least from my experience, because there's just so much garbage happening on your screen that it can be a little tricky to land. But once you land it, you have to be very precise with it. I don't think this character falls into the line you can pick up and instantly learn her. You do have to play like a match or two to actually understand what she can do and all her capabilities, but I think once you have it going and you find the rhythm, this character is super rewarding and she's just super fun. I'm really glad they made this character really cool, because I was, like I said previously, concerned if they're gonna make her even remotely as interesting as Deadpool. I will say Elsa is a better character, at least in power level, in comparison to Deadpool, but I was just worried that her kit wouldn't be as interesting, because Deadpool does have a very interesting kit. I just think his numbers should be improved a little. But Elsa is like the whole package. She has a lot of cool abilities. Her power level is really strong. Her ult is like really, really good, and it's definitely going to spawn a lot of clips over time. But this character is really well done, and I'm glad they actually did something cool with her. I definitely want to put in the time and become very, good with her. She's, like I said, this whole video, she's super fun. But I will say I haven't learned all the matchups yet with Elsa. I think characters like Namor aren't a hard counter with her, but Namor does check her in the sense that you have to shoot the squids as like most flankers, but that's not really like comparable to say. Like, I don't think it's a hard counter because you have characters like Black Panther and Spider-Man that have to deal with Namor. So I think she's pretty okay to Namor. I haven't, played a lot of matches with her, so I need to get a lot of experience with all the different matchups. But I will say that it doesn't feel like she has a matchup where it's absolutely horrible. I don't know which character absolutely hard counters her. I don't think a character super hard counters her. There's probably characters that do limit her. Like I said, Namor does check her a little bit. Thing probably as well, because if he can just stop you from using your dashes, you are pretty vulnerable, so that also is a pretty good counter. I don't know who else, but so far this character has been a blast. Really hope they keep up with these characters coming out like this. They've done a fantastic job, and I'm going to definitely invest in the Elsa stocks. One last thing that I actually wanted to mention about Elsa, I know that she's a pretty fresh character. I mean, like I said, she hasn't been out for even a week or a day from the time I'm recording this, but I do not know what her best comp is. I do think she can work well in certain dive comps or brawl comps, because you can definitely take off angles. I think taking off angles as Elsa is one of the most important things, because you just have good range and just good damage from like I said, multiple ranges. She doesn't really feel weak when you try to play her from at least a mid to long range, but you're not maximizing her kit. If you're just sitting back and poking, you definitely need to take off angles, basically like a Solid, like I've been saying. But I don't know which compositions she works best in. I think you can definitely play her in like some dive comps. Broad comps could work. Maybe you could have I don't think she gets the most value on a poke comp, because she definitely works well when you can take an off angle and, you know, get your combo going and all that stuff. But that's all I wanted to say. Quick video. Let me know if you guys are enjoying Elsa, and if you're actually gonna invest time in her. Are you enjoying the new season? I really hope they do add more ults that can challenge the support ults in this game. I seriously think that the only way this character doesn't have any playtime in ranked is if she just gets banned a lot, which she probably might, considering that ult is super good. So I'm not gonna be surprised if I see some Elsa bans. It just really sucks that you know, we get a character that can actually kill two support ults, and it might get banned a lot, but it's okay. Hopefully they add more characters like this, and I think it's a step in the right direction. Super fun Hitscan characters, and let me know if you guys actually enjoyed her.